So there's lots of videos already on how to sharpen these garden pruners. I'm getting ready to prune all my fruit trees. I was going to make a video about sharpening these, but I've already sharpened most of mine. Although they do dull quickly, maybe my edge was a little too fine, because like this one was just sharp, but I put it to use and it already marred it up really good. If they're even halfway close to sharp, one of the main things with these is that they are acting like scissors and you know, lining up. So if you look at these, this one has a very big gap in here, and that means it's fine for bad or dead wood. But if you're trying to trim trees or something like fruit trees and keep them nice, you know, what this will make and it might just be loose. So the first thing to try, anyway, it'll make a decent cut, and then right at the end it tears the bark away, you know, so that's what you don't want. So first thing to try is just to tighten these up. But as I suspected, it gets well, actually that might have done it right there. See, what you want these contacting everywhere like scissors, so that you're getting a nice clean cut. And you can tighten it up enough to where, not where it's real difficult to use, but you can oil it and it still works fine, but you're getting nice clampage. So these are actually fine. I was going to show sometimes if you tighten them up and they're still off, you can hammer these parts back and bring it into straight. These ones, I had sharpened them and they were working well. They have a slight gap as you're coming in. So you really want these to act like scissors and make that sound. Similar to these. It's not doing it for half of the cut, but then, you know, you want that action. And you can see it's kind of a scissor effect. So it's tight and then it's deflecting past the cut. But the main thing is when it's making the cut. And so like these, I filed the bottom. So you want to sharpen all these things just like a chisel, just like woodworkers sharpen chisels and tools like that, because it's going to cut a lot better. So normally if you take these apart, you can flatten the back, or even just, you know, you can flatten that back part, and that's half of what you need. So you can sharpen these things and get them cutting like really nice. And then this is a diamond stone, but there's all different types of sharpening things you can use. But basically you can work those edges and get it sharp. But what a lot of people don't realize is that the back, having a flat back, is also important, and also the way they come together. So these ones I could tighten. Yeah, so it's getting better. It'll get a little bit harder to use. These ones have this extendo thing, which I hate, because they end up opening up when you use them. But so I actually sharpen these and they cut really nice. I sharpen these, and These were actually super rusty. I took rust remover and took them apart, got them working, and they work great now. But same thing here. Like this thing already took some abuse. I was cutting some big old yew bushes or something, and it's really hard. But yeah, flattening the back, and then see, like this is actually not coming together until the end. So I can try tightening it. I need another wrench. But the other thing you can do is slightly bend these into where it's making contact the whole way, and it will cut really nice. So let me do that and I'll show you. Okay, I've got 2 wrenches now. See, this one is just spinning. Just tighten this up a little bit more, and not too much, but you still want it to work, but that's enough to be working. But if you look, for the most part, this one will work fine. But you can take them apart to sharpen them too, but you can also, let me just give this just a slight bend, and then look down it and see that it's making good contact. See, it's still a little bit away. So basically I'm just bending. I'm just barely bending that. You can hear it. It's still not doing it all the way down here. And down here. So these blades, the blades are hardened and this is not. And under heavy use, these things will bend, because a lot of times, what everyone does is they cut the biggest branches possible with these. You can take this apart and do it really nice, or you can just try to do it by hand. But another key aspect to this is actually, if you get a good flat grind on the back and a nice sharpening, which in this case I think I would go to I had too much of an angle, which makes a finer edge, and now I'm getting all kinds of deflection, or my blade is all bent over because of that. So, but they'll still work even with halfway sharp blades. You take a diamond file. These are nice. This is a diamond. So what I'm saying is I would decrease the angle, make it a little bit more of a shorter angle, which should last a little better, but it doesn't cut maybe quite as easily. But these are pretty easy. I've got my sharpening stuff down here. You could take like a stone like this, and grind it. So sharpening is one thing, but the mechanics of it are even more important, especially for, like I said, clean cuts. When you're cutting like fruit trees and things, or any tree, you don't want to leave big ripped pieces of bark, because that's, harder for the plant to heal. So give that a bend that, and then if you want to go really crazy with this, you can take this apart, really try to flatten the back and make sure it's in full contact everywhere. Tighten it up as much as you can, whatever it takes, and then they'll cut amazing. So I'll show you that in just a second. These ones, I thought, I tighten these up and I'm looking down. seeing how it's making contact, and it's pretty good the whole way. So these should work well. You could give it a little bit extra just on the bottom part. Just enough to bend it a little. But that's the sound you want. So I happen to have a sharpening station because of woodworking, but I have a variety of things on here. So, you know, you don't have to have fancy water stones. You can use something like this, although it's very coarse, like you heard. That was very coarse. This one seems a bit finer, this one. So the quickest way is to do this on the tool, and you can watch the edge and see where it's cutting. You try to match the factory angle, the angle that was on it, but even that is pretty coarse. So these are some cheap diamond plates. Try that, a little bit finer, and it'll cut the material down. So that's a really rough sharpen, but people maybe don't do as much as the back. Now it'll take a lot to flatten the whole back, so you can kind of just check it for raised areas, or you can cheat it a little bit and kind of angle into it. That way you just got a nice clean surface here. So you can continue doing that. I make mine usually very sharp, and then they cut. You know, you can also see, if you see the edge, then it's not sharp. If it starts disappearing, that's when you're getting sharp. Think of guys in a movie sitting there constantly sharpening their swords. It's just like that. So that's a whole other thing. There's plenty of videos on that, but I'm telling you the mechanics of it is also very important. So that's it. I'll do some shots of cutting stuff. I didn't show you what it does when it's wrong. You'll know it. So, and then these things are the same. Like these ones will probably work fine. And then these ones I've worked on because they work, but they never cut that great. But anyways, same thing. The back, this edge, and don't get me wrong, I definitely want to make this sharp, but if the mechanics are not lining up, it won't work very well. Okay, I got the good ones now that are actually working. Those other ones need some work. I got them closer, but I need to bang on those for a while. But this can be a lot more dramatic on different plants, but if you get that back tearing off the bark, I mean, that just makes a bad cut. So these ones here, being that they are all lined up in cutting, then they should make a nice clean cut. So we'll take that same branch and we'll cut it again right here, picking this one that's pointing outwards randomly, and I'll park right above that, cut that off. Now here is a good cut, pretty much. It's still definitely has an exit wound on, you know, the last part of the cut. So that's something. You can try to work on those. But here, let's try another one up here. I'm gonna go for this one up here. And sometimes if you put, depending on which direction you put the blade, you know, like if you put the back that way, or maybe put the blade on the inside, maybe it'll cut a little better. Let's try it. So that one I mean, it's still pretty clean cut, but not bad. Snipping, just randomly snipping. Just cutting kinds of randomness at this point. June prune. Get through this June prune, It's already the end of June. And I haven't got through the prune. These ones I'm just lopping off. But anyway, that's how they should cut. So if you have any deviation from that, then your tools might need some attention. And they don't have to be super sharp to cut good, because the greenwood cuts easy, but really just want that nice continuous cut, and they will cut so nice. Like